Good evening and thank you for joining us. The Hong Kong DSE results will be released tomorrow morning. More than 58,000 people registered for the Hong Kong DSE this year and 97% of them sat the exam. A record 24 candidates scored 5 double star across 6 subjects, though no candidates achieved a perfect score across all subjects this year. Hiba Khan has more.
This year's HKDSE found an increase of 1,000 school candidates, a 2.2% increase from last year. 700,000 answer scripts were handled by 4,700 markers, and the Hong Kong Examinations and Assessment Authority says the process went smoothly.
Before the commencement of the examination, we conducted large-scale drills and assistance tests to ensure that all examination centers were fully prepared. Meanwhile, additional examination centers and invigilators were arranged to accommodate the increased number of candidates.
A total of 15,973 secondary school students met the minimum entrance requirements for local undergraduate degree programs. They represented 36.8% of this category, a slight drop from last year. With about 15,000 places available across the 8 subsidized universities, an average of 1.06 candidates will be competing for 1 seat. Among the 4 core subjects, 62.5 percentage points of candidates attained level 3 or above in the Chinese language exam, while 54.6 percentage points of those who sat for the English exam scored higher than level 3. The 2 language cores saw a slight dip of 2.2 percentage points and 0.5 percentage points, respectively, in the number of candidates that attained level 3 or above. Meanwhile, mathematics and citizenship and social development saw the most significant improvement. Close to 84 percentage points of math exam takers got a level 2 or above, while 94.7 percentage points of CSD exam candidates achieved and attained. Both subjects saw an increase of 0.2 percentage points and 1.5 percentage points, respectively. Candidates may check their results starting 9 a.m. tomorrow via SMS or their respective schools and online platforms. Hiba Khan, TVB News.
The University of Hong Kong Faculty of Medicine says it will admit all students under the School Nominations Direct Admission Scheme and strengthen medical ethics training. JUL reports.
The University of Hong Kong Faculty of Medicine confirms it has admitted all 29 students under the School Nominations Direct Admission Scheme launched by Hong Kong Education Bureau 3 years ago. Under the scheme, each secondary school can nominate 2 students for universities to consider for direct admission. The school also contacted more than 30 IB top scorers and expects about upwards of 80% of them to eventually choose HKU medicine. Dean Professor Chak-Sing Lau stresses admissions are not based solely on scores. The faculty wants to know if applicants are truly suited by learning their communication skills, social skills, and character. He also notes 400 applicants from top global universities have applied through the graduate entry track. The faculty says this sets a high bar for interviews because a good doctor should not be judged based only on their exam results or knowledge.
We are all trying to let them understand what it's like not only to be a medical student, but also deliver some of the skills that we know and trying to make our society a better place.
In response to recent misconduct involving an intern named Angel, the faculty says it is now promoting a joint effort to draft a code of conduct for social media usage. Jolie, TVB News.
2 men have been arrested, including a student, over alleged crash for cash scams in different districts involving more than $1 million. Aged 19 and 21, the pair are reported to be a student and unemployed, respectively. Police say they have been involved in 123 traffic accidents across the territory since May last year. On 34 separate days, the duo were involved in at least 2 accidents on each day. The suspects deliberately staged collisions at roundabouts, narrow bends, or lane-changing blind spots to demand compensations ranging from $4,000 to $16,000. 1 week into the launch of Hong Kong's central gold clearing and settlement system, Secretary for Financial Services and the Treasury Christopher Hui reveals a substantial quantity of gold has been deposited into the system. As Hong Kong's newly minted Central Gold Clearing and Settlement System began trial operations last week, Secretary for Financial Services and the Treasury Christopher Hui speaks with the media over Hong Kong's bid to gain greater clout over Asian session gold pricing. And that will hinge on bringing together the world's three major gold-related services in one location, Hong Kong. Hui says as London specializes in the spot market, the US in gold futures and Switzerland in gold refining, he hopes these functions can take place within the Asian time zone via the SAR. To provide all three services, Hong Kong would need not only gold storage facilities, but also local gold refining capabilities. The government aims to ratchet up the city's total gold vault capacity to more than 2,000 tons within 3 years. But that would still be less than half of London's capacity. Hui says the UK has spent nearly a century building up its current level of gold reserves. And for Hong Kong, the key lies in careful planning and launching each initiative at the right time. Hui also reveals more than 10 refiners are in talks with the city's Office for Attracting Strategic Enterprises. The United Nations Security Council is called into an emergency meeting on the latest Mideast conflict flared up by Iranian violations of Yemen's airspace and Saudi Arabian airstrikes at Sana'a International Airport in Yemen on Monday. Chinese envoy Sui has expressed serious concern with calls on all parties concerned to exercise restraint to avoid further escalation. Danny Zhou has details.
Media reports say the Saudi attacks were meant to prevent an Iranian civilian plane carrying a Houthi delegation from landing, and that the aircraft was later diverted to Yemen's Hodeidah airport. The Iran-backed Houthis claim they subsequently fired missiles and drones at Saudi Arabia's Abha airport later that day, while no casualties were reported.
Crisis cannot be separated from
Addressing the Security Council session, UN Assistant Secretary General Khalid Khiari urges all actors to address their differences through dialogue and emphasizes Yemen and the wider region cannot afford another escalation. The parties have negotiated an agreement in May to free over 1,600 conflict-related detainees, the largest such release since the start of the conflict in the war-torn country. The official contends unilateral measures risk entrenching divisions, expediting fragmentation, and heightening the danger of military confrontation. Sun Lei, the charge d'affaires of China's permanent mission to the UN, reaffirms the position that the sovereignty, security, and territorial integrity of all Middle Eastern countries should be respected. He states China has always maintained that the purposes and principles of the UN Charter should be upheld, and civilians, humanitarian workers, and civilian objects should be protected. Meanwhile, the U.S. Deputy Representative Tammy Bruce asserts they will stand with the Yemeni government while accusing Tehran of using flights to Houthi-controlled Sana'a to move Revolutionary Guards personnel into Yemen, an allegation that Iran denies.
The United States stands with our partners in the Gulf, and we stand with the Republic of Yemen government against the Iranian-supported Houthi terrorist threat.
Bruce further pledges Washington won't unilaterally implement its interim memorandum inked with Tehran and will retaliate with force should Iranians continue to threaten safe passage protected by the MOU. Danny Zhou, TVB News.
Welcome back. Andy Burnham secured the backing of 349 Labour members of Parliament, effectively becoming the sole qualifying candidate in the race to lead Britain's Labour Party, according to the party. Candidates must secure the nominations of at least 81 Labour MPs, including themselves, between July 9th and 15th to qualify for the leadership contest under the party's election timetable. Burnham's 349 nominations have effectively ruled out any rival bid. With Labour holding 403 seats in the House of Commons, no other potential candidate could secure the 81 nominations needed to enter the race. He now needs to secure nominations from at least 3 Labour affiliates, including at least 2 trade union affiliates, by July 16th to complete the nomination threshold. British media say this is a matter of formality. Burnham is expected to be declared Labour leader at a special party conference on Friday. Local media also reported that he would be sworn in as Britain's Prime Minister next Monday, succeeding outgoing Prime Minister Keir Starmer. A record 6,800 European troops and warplanes joined Paris Bastille Day parade in a show of unity for Ukraine. This after French President Emmanuel Macron receives Order of Freedom from Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Danny Zhou has more.
Troops and warplanes from around Europe joined the Pont-Field parade through Paris as part of France's Bastille Day celebrations. The display is meant to be a showcase of support for Ukraine and proof of European military strength. On Emmanuel Macron's last Bastille Day as president, some 30 country leaders arrive in the French capital to display a united front as Europe deals with the ongoing threats of the Russian-Ukraine war, as well as US President Donald Trump's criticism over NATO spending and defense efforts. Macron's wife, Brigitte Macron, was also present for the celebrations. Troops marched beneath the Napoleon-era Arc de Triomphe and along the Champs-Élysées Avenue, some of the French capital's most iconic landmarks. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who on Monday presented Macron with his country's highest state award, the Order of Freedom, following the Coalition of the Willing gathering in the city that saw France and the UK signal their military support, appears prominently at the parade. Ukrainian troops march along the cobblestoned avenue, and Ukrainian co-pilots trained in France fly 2 Mirage 2000B fighter jets alongside French Air Force pilots. In the skies, aircraft from Germany, the United Kingdom, Croatia, Poland, Denmark, Greece, Sweden, Norway, Spain and Italy also take part. On the ground, the parade opens with around 500 troops from the group of Coalition of the Willing countries that have pledged to help with Ukraine's post-war security. Celebrations kick-started on the eve of Bastille Day with a spectacular drone and fireworks show around the Eiffel Tower on Monday night. Danny Zhou, TVB News.
Ma Xingrui, a former member of the political bureau of the Chinese Communist Party Central Committee, has been expelled from the party and dismissed from public office for serious violations of discipline and law. Xinhua News Agency reports the political bureau of the Chinese Communist Party Central Committee held a meeting on June 30th, which reviewed and approved the report on the discipline inspection on Ma Xingrui. The report says investigations reviewed Ma helped relatives purchase houses at low prices, engage in power for sex and money for sex transactions, large-scale family corruption, and use his position to seek benefits for others in business operations, project contracting, and promotions. Ma himself, or in collusion with relatives and specific associates, illegally accepted large sums of money and property. The report says Ma's actions constituted violations of duty. He is also suspected of bribery, and the report says his actions, which continued even after the 18th CPC National Congress, were extremely serious in nature and had an extremely negative impact. The party is expelling Ma, dismissing him from public office, and terminating his qualification as a delegate to the 20th CPC National Congress and confiscating his illegal gains. His case will be transferred to relevant authorities for investigation and prosecution. The government gazetted the Huanggang Port Hong Kong Port Area Bill today to give effect to the relevant authorization of the central authorities and to provide the legal basis for implementing the co-location arrangement at the redeveloped Huanggang Port. The bill will be introduced into the Legislative Council for first and second readings tomorrow. It is agreed the Hong Kong Port Area is to be commissioned beginning at midnight of July 31st, 2026. The official opening date is to be agreed upon by the Guangdong and Hong Kong governments. The main provisions of the bill include declaring certain areas at the Huanggang Port in the Chinese mainland as the Hong Kong Port Area. The SAR government is obliged to complete the relevant local legislative work before July 31st. The Office of the Commissioner of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Hong Kong invites foreign consuls and business representatives to the Hong Kong Museum of History for a special tour of an exhibition on China's Sui and Tang dynasties. Luna Bai has more.
The exhibition is titled as Prosperity and Magnificence, Civilization of the Sui and Tang Dynasties in Shanxi Province. As a third part of the museum's General History of China series, it features more than 165 precious artifacts from Shanxi and Hong Kong, showcase the brilliant culture of one of China's most prosperous periods. More than 25 foreign consuls and representatives from international chambers of commerce toured the exhibition.
I was impressed with the fact that during the Tang dynasty, a foreigner can be part of the government.
The visit is jointly organized by the Office of the Commissioner of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Hong Kong and the Democratic Alliance for the Betterment and Progress of Hong Kong. Chief Secretary for Administration Chen Guoqi addresses the gathering, noting Hong Kong plays the same role as Chang'an, the Asian capital city of China, bridging different civilizations.
Today's Hong Kong shares the defining characteristics with Chang'an in its time. We are open and inclusive, and we serve as a bridge between cultures. We bring diverse traditions together, and we welcome global exchange.
Organizers say they will hold more events in the future, inviting foreign consuls and business representatives to foster international exchange. Lena Bai, TVB News.
This year's Hong Kong Book Fair is set to take place between the 15th and 21st of this month. Timothy Lee takes a look at the final preparations for the annual Book Lovers event.
Hosting well over 700 exhibition booths this year, the 2026 Hong Kong Book Fair contains a number of themed venues, including Chinese provincial cultures and even the history of overseas Chinese communities.
According to the title of the book fair, the city and I think the creative things, we prepared city biographics about Greater Bay Area, like Zhongshan biography and Guangzhou biography. And the other is interesting about the best-seller movie. DAU is the most popular right now in the Greater Bay Area. I think Hong Kong's will have many memories about that history things, and Hong Kong is main. I think is a port harbor and to gather the Chao from outside into the Chaoshan and Hakkas.
Those interested in tourism abroad could even visit the World in Words exhibit, which introduces the community to literature from across the globe in accordance with their preferences for travel.
The book fair theme is about travel, about cultural tourism. So basically we want to boil the idea of books and also the luggage, combine it all together. So basically when you flip over the book, it's similar to you flip over your luggage.
Visitors at this year's book fair can take part in an assortment of interactive activities at the World in Words exhibit, including this AI-powered art system. First, I'll need to sketch the scene from a prompt displayed on these glasses. In mere moments, the art system will generate an AI version of my sketch on it, and also gift its users an airline ticket with their artwork displayed on it. Timothy Lee, TVB News.
And that's the news. Thank you for watching.